Ugh, noisy, noisy, noisy. I can't. Have you ever found that there's so much noise in the world? Well, there's the white noise in the background, which we learn to tune out, I think. And then there's the noise of people telling us and different, we can Google anything. And we can't get one answer or two answers or three answers. We can probably get about 100,000 to a million answers for any question we have.
Yeah, and how do you filter that? And you know what you said? You said you ignore the noise, right? After a while, like if you live beside a train track or over or a flight path for airplanes,
or near a roadway, or have some traffic, or there's truck traffic.
After a while, you just ignore that noise and it goes away. And that's the thing with investment noise, because there's so much noise. It's a noisy environment.
And there's so many schemes, right? There are schemes that sound too good to be true.
Yet rich, quick.
And most of those schemes that sound too good to be true, I don't know about you, but I have found that they are too good to be true. They're usually plagued with just a lot of noise, a lot of hype, and a lot of nothing. So if you're just tuning in now, this is Ken. Well, that's Ken, actually. This is Yetta Decker. And we're talking about the noise in the world and how do you filter through the noise to get to the thing, the right information that will serve you. We're specifically pretty good at the whole investing and real estate game. And whether it's noise in real estate investing or noise in some other area of your life, whether it's you're having your first baby and there's a lot of noise about what to expect and what it should be like and what you shouldn't do and what you should do. And the noise is not always intended as noise. I think most of the noise that comes at us, most of the noise that's come at me has been well intended.
Yeah, sometimes the noise comes from your friends, your relatives around investing. Oh, don't do that.
Oh, did you hear what happened? And all of a sudden that's noise that may get in the way. And I'm not saying it didn't happen. I am certain there are some horror stories out there because I got me at least a couple of handfuls of horror stories myself. And the point is, how do we help you filter through the noise that we had to filter through? And sometimes we didn't do it successfully. Sometimes we did. And so we want to hear what successful things have you done that filtered through the noise and got to the goods, the real goods. And what's fascinating about this conversation is depending on where you live, what city you're in, what country you're in, the noise, or what I'm referring to as the noise, the conflicting data is not necessarily going to be the same. There's some basic principles, and yet the noise is different in every city. Those things that really aren't as they may appear to be, those things that have been sensationalized are different.
Yeah, and so that noise creates confusion.
Oh.
And a confused person never takes action.
Well, pretty much never.
Not in the right way, anyways.
Right, or if they take action, they take it in a state of confusion. And even if it turns out to be decent action, which most of the time it doesn't, that's at least been my experience, then you can't repeat the pattern because you did it in a state of confusion. You'll never know if it was right. So being informed. And informed doesn't mean bucket loads of data necessarily. It means a trusted source. Find a trusted source that can break through the noise. One of the things we've often heard one of our clients say over the years is, you know what? I talked to this really nice, young, and young isn't the thing because I was a young realtor once, so I'm not going to make that a bad thing. Now I'm an old realtor, not only years in the industry, but years in age. And yet sometimes those that want to offer us advice, maybe you experience that not with real estate, but with car buying or with the purchase of just about anything around your house. Somebody trying to sell you a hot tub, but they've never owned a hot tub. Somebody selling you a pool, but they've never experienced navigating a season with a pool. Somebody that's talking to you about paving your driveway, but they've never actually lived in a home where they've had to worry about the driveway and the settling and there's just something to be said for experience. It's not the only thing. They better be educated too. They better have had successful experience. And then when they haven't been successful, because I'm here to tell you, we haven't always been successful.
No, we've taken the bumpy road to success, and we've had some losses. And those losses are part of the noise, because when people hear, oh, you lost money, you lost a lot of money.
Like $1 million or whatever.
And what I found is when we lose money, it's because we're not in control. We've invested in either things we don't understand or things that we're a minority player, and it's all controlled by somebody else.
Right. So catch that. If you're not taking notes right now, this is one of those episodes, 15 at 15 for life, where we come together and we share from our experience and from our knowledge. We have taken thousands and thousands. I should probably calculate the number of educational hours in the real estate industry. I just did it about septic systems today. And although it's only about 70 hours on septic systems education that I took near the beginning of my career, boy, has that 70 hours of septic system education served me well. Just one small facet around real estate. Mm-hmm. And so you want to make sure the person has experience, but you also want to make sure that they've actually had some bumps in the road and they have evaluated that experience. Because I've never had to evaluate anything. I suspect there's probably some luck in their strategy.
Yeah, or they haven't taken enough chances, or they're just like, if you're not,
I don't want to take chances.
I know, but when you act in the investment field, how you learn is when some of them don't pan out. And we might just say, well, just invest in real estate, for instance, right? But then there are some drawbacks to real estate. Could the real estate prices change? Well, they could. And when we talk Ottawa, though, what we would say is that, so our strategy for the most part in Ottawa, unless there is a unique situation where the property can be changed its use, or for some interesting phenomenal, fantastical. That's a great word.
I know, fantastical. Some fantastical reason you've been able to purchase a property to below market value. Ottawa real estate is generally not one where that happens a lot. So unless you can change the use and increase the value by change of use, or do a severance, something where it significantly increases the value of the property, or maybe you have a vacant lot that's a bizarre lot shape, and by putting a house on it, you just increase the value significantly. There are some things to be done. Unless you can do one of those, which is the minority in the Ottawa market, then it really is a buy and hold conversation. And if somebody else is paying off your mortgage, then the good news is you buy and hold long enough, it's going to go up in value, because there's nobody that bought a house in 1960 or 1970 or 1980 or 1990 or 2000 or 2010 that hasn't had significant increase in their property.
Yeah. And one of our clients recently asked this, Yetta, is it ever too late to invest? Now, you helped a client
buy their first house.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating about that is she did think it was too late. She had never owned a home. And
how old roughly?
64.
64, never owned a home.
Never.
But they just bought a home with an added property to it. So it was a multi-property on one property. So they're now investors, and they're investing in their own home.
Right.
What
and
a
they've
great
got
situation.
3 units. Basically, it's a triplex. 2 separate buildings. One's a triplex or a duplex, and one's a single bungalow, single family detached home on one piece of land. And it's not severable. However, what an incredible investment, because you're looking at really wasn't any more expensive than a single family
Yeah.
home in that neighborhood.
So the point is, if no matter what age you are, in 10 to 20 years, let's say 20 years from now, will you be 20 years older?
Mm-hmm.
And what if you don't invest, or what if you do invest? What's the difference in where you're going to end up after 20 years?
Well, it's only just a stress. I mean, me, age-wise, same gig,
Yeah.
right? The only difference will be whether I have had my money work for me or I haven't had my money work for me. Now, we're saying a general. I always put a little caveat on this. We don't want to say, hey, there's nobody that shouldn't invest. There are times that it's not a good choice. It's a poor choice. But what I have learned is by sitting with a trusted counselor, a trusted advisor, somebody that can say, what's going on for you? What's up for you? What are your goals? If you don't know your investment goals, you in trouble.
So the investment advisor is doing what? Cutting through the noise for
Guiding
you,
through
right?
the noise. Yep.
Yes.
Guiding you through the noise so that you can have clarity of mind. So one of the things I've often had people say, and I wasn't going to say this today.
You were?
No, I
What are you
wasn't.
going to say now?
Okay, what I'm going to say is sometimes people will think because we're realtors, because we've been in the industry for so long, even though we've done really well with it, that we just are hungry to do the sale. Hungry just
No
to make
way.
it. Yeah.
Somebody thinks that?
Yes, because there is a trend of thought that that's the case. I'm going to earn if I help you make a great investment. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
So is
True.
my stockbroker.
So is my accountant. So is every
My
service
lawyer,
provider that I
everyone
work
who's
with.
going to help me make a great decision. There's an investment for that expertise.
Right, absolutely. And having said that, you're right. You're right if you're the one that's asked me this question or made this statement out loud, which means you obviously trusted me or you wouldn't have said it out loud, that if I helped you get a poor investment, I would do just as well, but you wouldn't. True, except are you coming back to me? Are you going to send your brother, your kids, your grandkids, your grandparents to me?
Or are you going to say nasty things about us?
Right. So reality is, although in the short term, and if we were in this for the short game, I guess you could deduce that it didn't matter what we helped you buy. However, we're in it for the long game. And it would still be the wrong deduction that you made if you thought that. And we're in it for the long haul. 32 years is a pretty good start to the long haul.
Yeah.
And I have realtors that are well into their 50s that work in our brokerage, and they have sometimes said to me, or even in their 40s or even in their 30s, and they've said, you're going to be here long after I'm gone. I can tell. And so there's probably some truth to that. So getting counsel from somebody that's in it for the long haul can really help you cut through the noise.
Yeah. So fear is a great noise that distracts, right? So
it stopped us for years.
Yeah. So what kind of things do we hear that's noisy that may be true and maybe not true, right? Because noise isn't always truth.
And it's not always a lie either.
Noise is just noise.
It's just noise. It's just
how do you navigate that noise? How do you put on the Bose noise canceling headphones
and dance to your tune?
Yeah.
Let's go.
So let's put on the noise canceling devices. And one of the things is tenants will trash and or not pay for my property, right? They won't pay their rent. They're gonna wreck it. Does that happen? It can. How do you prevent it?
Get a great tenant in the first place.
Selection is in the big part, right?
Because anytime it's cost us, which it has, we've had a couple properties trashed, septic systems ruined, and houses internally destroyed. And each time it's happened, it was somebody that we already knew had a history, but we wanted to give them a chance. So I'm not saying it's bad to help somebody, and better look hard and long at the character. And if they've already had a similar experience or a poor experience that you know about, you might want to consider whether it was an isolated incident or something that's likely to repeat itself in history.
Yeah.
So making sure that you do your due diligence, do the credit check. Don't call. Here's a little, I always share this. We often share this. Don't call necessarily just the last landlord. Call the landlord two ago.
Yeah.
Because they have nothing in it. They're not necessarily hoping the person vacates where they're living now.
Right. So this is one I love. I will lose money each month. I have never, ever, put somebody in an investment where they lose money each month. Now, could it have negative cash flow?
Yeah.
Yes, possibly, but you're not losing money because your mortgage payment is going down. Like half of your mortgage payment is your principal pay down. So it would be a really, really, really poor investment if it actually lost money each month. So I have never helped someone do that. And then the other one, I love this one. We heard is
we hear a lot.
At midnight,
the toilet's going to break.
The toilet will break.
The toilet will break, and it's going to happen at midnight. Worse yet, it's going to happen at 2 a.m. The sink in the kitchen is going to get plugged, and there's going to be a leak in my plumbing, and the septic system is going to break, and things are going to go south.
And that's really not going to happen, really. We've had multiple tenants. Never gotten a call in the middle of the night that something's wrong with the house.
Well, most people are sleeping.
If you were,
hello, how funny is that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the furnace, I guess, could break. And if you have a rental property, having a service contract on the furnace is a really wise investment. So there's many investments to take care of to mitigate those aggravations, those frustrations. And then you could have a property manager so you don't have to get the phone call at all anyway. However, I don't think we've ever had one in the middle of the night.
No. And so that's cute, that midnight one, right? And then the other one that I hear is, too much work. It's too much work. It's kind of like making money while you sleep.
Mostly.
Like 99% of the time, an investment property is a passive investment and there's no work to do. Sometimes you got to give a notice or maybe you got to collect a rent, but on the basis of a month long, you might spend an hour or two a month managing your property. Like, it's minimal.
It really is.
So too much work, I think we'll cut through that noise, right?
We're cutting through it now, right here. This is a noise that we addressed a little bit already, but it is a noise that seems to throw people off a lot. The values are going to go down. The market is volatile. Well, don't buy your investment property in a volatile market. Like, it's usually got a history of volatility. Unless the bottom falls out of everything, then it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So if you want to cut out the noise, you really want to cut it out seriously, then there's two things I would recommend. One is read The Wealth Formula, written by yours truly,
Ken Decker.
Yeah, The Wealth Formula. It's a great read. You can read it on a weekend. If you're going on vacation, take it with you. It's a fun read. It's not a boring financial book. It's
about 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours.
It's a romance / adventure / fantasy / finance. So it's fun. So do that. Or if you really want to have us sit down with you for an hour, book a consultation with us.
We can
give us a shout.
Do it on Zoom. It doesn't even have to be face-to-face, although it could be. So if you're just thinking, what's my one next step? Because that's ultimately all you really need. What's that one next step that you would need to know to be able to cut through the noise and then either make a really good decision to say, you know what, investing in real estate, clearly, after I've cut through the noise, after I've gathered my information from 1 or 2 trusted sources, once I've built my team and I know the real goods, and it's not for me, all right, so it's not for you. At
Yeah.
least you'll never wonder. Because how often have I heard, oh my goodness, the number of times I've heard, if only I bought a piece of real estate that I
20
hung on
years ago,
to.
or if only I had known what
Mhm.
you're teaching me now 20, 30 years ago. Well, the best time is now. So invest an hour in yourself. Invest that hour. Make that phone call, and
Because
be
we'll
happy.
invest the hour
Yeah,
with
we'll
you.
invest the hour for you because we care about you. You're our friend, and we care about you. And so we're happy to do that. We're happy to give back. We've done extremely well building a life that we love.
Yeah, we have.
And we're in a position now to help others build the life of their dreams. And if that's you, then step through the fear, step through, maybe it's embarrassment, maybe it's guilt of where you haven't gotten to now. This is a no judgment call, no judgment conversation. We're going to assess where you are, but we're not going to judge you for where you are. Those are totally different things, right?
Well, we need to know where we are because we can't decide how to move forward. Because one of the other things I think people say is, I don't have enough money right now. I don't have money. Well, you might be surprised at how little you need for one, and two, where you might find money. Not everybody has to start with $1 million investment. Maybe going out of town, like there are so many different things to consider. So if you want to cut through the noise and have a one-on-one conversation, or if there's 2 of you or 3 of you, you can have it with one of us or both of us. We would love to unpack that with you. And we are grateful that we get to be your guides on this journey because we've already been there.
Mm-hmm.
And we care that you get where you want to go as well.
And we believe in you.